Today, I want to share some tips for staying organized and motivated if you are someone who works from home. Perhaps you're an entrepreneur like me who works at home. Maybe you're a remote worker, a student, or someone who is working on their side hustle part-time at home. If any of those situations apply to you, or if you're just interested in hearing what I have to say on the topic, stay tuned for today's video. Hello, my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. And if this is your first time with me, I would like to say welcome. My name is Alexis, but I'm also known as Miss Trenchcoat all across the internet. I'm an online entrepreneur who designs productivity tools, strategies, and skills to help you manifest success with less stress. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll leave some links down below in the description box where you can check out more of my work online, and feel free to download some of my latest free productivity tools over at thecharmedshop.com. So I get a lot of questions about how I stay productive working from home. So I took to Instagram the other day and asked you guys what your most pressing questions were about working from home. What tips, tricks, strategies, ideas you wanted me to talk about or answer. And so I have assembled those into a very simple 5-step or 5-tip process for being productive and staying motivated and organized working from home. So if you are not yet following me on Instagram, make sure to hop on over and follow me at Instagram at MissTrenchcoat if you want to get some more of the behind the scenes of my productivity life and business and want to have a say on some of these sorts of videos that I go to you guys for your recommendations or your questions. Definitely hop on over to Instagram and check me out there. Okay, so like I said, I have 5 tips to share with you today, so let's jump on in. My first tip for staying organized and motivated working from home is to have a dedicated workspace. Now, no matter how much space you have, whether you have like a full home office the way I do, or just a desk in your bedroom, I think it's very important that you have a dedicated workspace, a place where you can organize all of your work materials and a place that you go to consistently to do your work. Now, this is very important, one, from an organizational standpoint, so all of your work stuff is in the same place, but also from a mental standpoint. I know a lot of you asked me about how I keep the line drawn, the boundary drawn between my personal life and my work life working from home. And one of the ways I do this is having a dedicated workspace, right? So I have a full home office here in my home, and I use this to work. It's where I store all of my work materials. And at the end of my workday, I very rarely actually come back into this room, even though it's like a significant portion of the downstairs. Once I'm done working, I shut the lights off in my home office and I go about my life and do my personal tasks and things at home. So I think by having a dedicated workspace, whatever that space can be for you, as much space as you can steal, and really saying in your mind, when I'm here, I'm at work, and when I'm not working anymore, I don't have to be in this space. I think that's a great way to help you draw a line and create a boundary so that you're focused on work when you're in your workspace, and then you can relax and work on your personal or home tasks when you are out of that space. Tip number 2 is to get dressed. Now, studies have shown that when you do get up and get ready and get properly dressed for work in the morning, you are more productive, right? So I know that there is a sense that when you're working from home, it's so great because you can wear pajamas all day long and work from bed. But the truth is that for me, I find that when I get up and I get dressed in the morning and have like a simple morning routine where I'm doing my hair and makeup, I am so much more prepared for the day. Now, I actually keep this very simple for myself by having like a go-to work uniform. And I've talked about this on my Instagram in the past, but I generally like to wear a lot of the same sorts of things that are real clothes, not pajamas, when I am at work. So for me, my go-to work uniform is usually some form of like leggings or jeans, sometimes sweatpants, like really like nicer sweatpants if I'm wearing sweatpants, and then either like a long sleeve blouse, a utility blouse, or like a nice sweater like I'm wearing today, this beautiful sweater from Banana Republic, right? It's comfortable, it's casual enough for me to work in, but I also look like I'm really put together, which is great because I never know what my day is going to lead to. If I have an impromptu Skype call with someone that I have to like talk face to face, I am ready to go because I'm dressed, my hair is done to some extent, and I have some form of makeup on. Now that'll vary. Some days I do like full hair and makeup because I'm filming, but some days I'll just do a little bit of makeup or just a little bit of skincare that helps me feel put together and make sure my hair, like, isn't just in a top knot on the top of my head. Now, there's nothing wrong about having days when you're not wearing makeup or, not have your hair done, but I do find on the days where I get up and get dressed and get ready for my day, I'm way more focused and I get so much more done. Tip number 3 is to set work hours. Now, this was something a lot of you had questions about as well, like whether or not I set hours for my work and when I work and when I don't work. Now, this is a great way to set boundaries around work time and personal time because you're literally saying I'm working for between the hours of this and this, right? Now, for me, I don't set start and end times for my work. I generally just have a time where I like to be at work. So there is a time where I'm expected to be in my office, dressed and ready to go to do my work. I don't set an end time to my work, and I'll explain why in tip number 5. But just having that sense of I will be ready at a certain time every day to go ahead and work on my work actually helps to keep me more organized and focused because I could totally just spend my morning putzing around or doing a lot of personal things. But having that time where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to be in my office to work at this time really helps to keep me focused and help me to manage my time better. And another question I got asked on this topic was whether or not I do personal items during my workday. And the answer is yes, I normally will sneak in a few personal items during my workday. But generally speaking, I do try to keep those for after work or on the weekends because I do want to keep the flow of my productivity focused on my work throughout the day. But I very often will like run an errand or do something, make a call, pay bills, or something like that that are related to my home life when I'm working. So I think even if you work in an office, sometimes people find ways to sneak sort of things like that in as well. So I don't think that's unusual, but I do try to keep it to a minimum in my day just for the flow of productivity. Now, tip number 4 is to have a go-to remote workspace. Now, I know the wonderful thing about working from home is you're home and like that's supposed to be like your remote workspace. But even though that's really wonderful and very flexible to work from home, I still think there's times where we need to get out of our home office and get a change of scenery. So I think that having a few places in mind that you can work at outside of your home is also a great idea, especially if you're someone who deals with interruptions working from home and you just need to steal away for a few hours and get some work done in a private place so that you don't get whatever normal interruptions you might get throughout your workday at home. Now, I know there are a list of usual suspects for places where people like to work outside the home, like Starbucks or Panera, places that encourage you to come and get food and drinks and sit and work with the free Wi-Fi. But don't forget about the lesser known places that you could be working at, like your local library or even in public access lounges on campuses and universities. A lot of times these places are really set up for remote work as well, and they're great places to steal away as well that not a lot of people think about using as a remote workspace. So you tend to have a little bit more availability and might have a little bit more privacy working in a place like that. Now, when I do need to get out of the office for a few hours, I also have a go-to work bag that I will use to just load up my essentials and really be able to just head out the door at a moment's notice. The bag that I use is actually this beautiful black backpack from a company called ISM out of San Francisco. They're a small startup, and I really love this bag because it's very understated, but it has a lot of tech-enabled areas for your laptop, your iPad. It even has a little pouch for you to store an external charger, and it has this little flap covered opening where you can actually feed through like a charger cable so you can charge your phone while the charger is actually in your backpack, or you could, run headphones through this little loop and use, your phone while your phone is stored in your backpack safely. So whatever your reason is for needing to work outside of your home, whether it's for new inspiration, some additional privacy, or a change of scenery, definitely make sure you've got a reliable spot that you can hide off to and have a reliable bag that you can use to just toss in your essential items and head out the door. And tip number 5 is to find focus with your top 3. Now, I'm always asked about how I stay focused on my work when I'm working at home. And to be really honest with you, it is a feat of discipline to make sure that you're keeping yourself accountable doing your work when you're working from home. There's no way around it. But a strategy that I always use and recommend to find focus in your work, no matter if you work from home or work from an office, is to set your top 3 for the day. Now, earlier in this video, I talked to you in tip number 3 about setting work hours, and I told you that I set a start time, but not an end time for my work. And the reason for that is because I like to incentivize myself to find focus by using my top 3 and my task list to guide my work, as opposed to using a set amount of work hours. Now, this is not a new concept. I actually learned about this years ago when I was very young. My uncle used to work at UPS, the delivery company, and they had a very interesting way of incentivizing their workers to get more done and be more productive. You see, when you work at UPS, you have a route that you go and you deliver all of your packages. And instead of just having like a set shift, right, that is a certain amount of time, if you get back to your UPS headquarters and you've completed your route early, you're actually allowed to leave for the day, right? If you are someone who's being more productive, who stayed more focused and got their work done for the day, you're not penalized with more work once you get back to the office. You are actually really incentivized, given a bonus of saying, hey, okay, now you've earned the rest of the day time off. Now, I think this is a wonderful way to incentivize yourself to stay focused. And that's the way that I incentivize myself. I don't tell myself that I need to work for X amount of hours a day. I tell myself that I need to get X amount of work done. And once that work is done, I am free to do whatever I want to do. Don't you see how that can be such a better incentive than the amount of time? Because think about how often maybe you've been productive at a job and you've been expected to be there for a certain amount of time, but you've gotten like 2 days worth of work done in one workday, and you're penalized because you have to sit there and continue taking on more and more work, or I guess maybe have to turn your brain off and become unproductive. But for me and running my own business and working from home, I love the idea of focusing in on my top 3 tasks for the day and making sure I'm getting those done and whatever associated other tasks belong to that day. And once I've gotten through those, once I've focused and taken care of my work, I am free to do whatever I want to do the rest of the day, which is why I don't set an end time to my work. Now, yes, this means that some days I might work more hours than others. I might work more than 8 hours in one day, or I might work just a few hours one day and then get the rest of the day off. It really has to do with how I've managed my workload for the week, but this is a strategy that works for me. And if you're someone who works from home, it may also work for you as well. So definitely give it a try. So I hope you've enjoyed these 5 tips on how to stay organized and motivated working from home. And I would love to hear down in the comments which one of these tips you think you would benefit from the most, and what maybe you think you can start doing now to, build this habit into your workday so that you have a productive work from home life. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it on social media with friends and family, wherever you think it'll be helpful. And of course, if you want more behind the scenes of my productivity life and business, make sure you're following me on Instagram at MissTrenchcoat. And if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye!